Good evening and welcome back to Slack Smack. This is episode 15. My name is Sean Slack, and tonight we have an awesome show lined up for you as we will be speaking with Jeremy Mincey and Coach Junior Mentors here in a short while. Before we get to that, I want to discuss something I've been posting about every day this week on Instagram, and will continue to do so on every show as well until something is done. Mostly for our Brazilian and other viewers around the world who might not be familiar with the facts of this story, let me kind of break this down for you to begin. And a lot of this information, this excerpt is coming from the New York Times. What we're going to talk about is Breonna Taylor. And Breonna Taylor was an African American medical worker from Louisville, Kentucky. Shortly after midnight on March 13th of this year, Miss Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, had been in bed but got up when they heard a loud bang at their front door. After a brief exchange, Mr. Walker fired a gun that he had, and the police also fired several shots, some of which struck Miss Taylor. Mr. Walker told investigators that Miss Taylor coughed and struggled to breathe for at least 5 minutes after she was shot. This is all according to the Louisville Courier Journal. She received no medical attention for more than 20 minutes. Okay, let me say that again. No medical attention for more than 20 minutes, citing the dispatch logs. The Jefferson County coroner told the Courier Journal that Ms. Taylor most likely died less than a minute after she was shot and could not have been saved. The police have been investigating the two men who they believed were selling drugs out of a house that was far from Miss Taylor's home. But a judge had also signed a warrant allowing the police to search Miss Taylor's residence because the police said they believed that one of the two men had used her apartment to receive packages. The judge's order was a so-called no-knock warrant, which allows the police to enter without warning and without identifying themselves as law enforcement. And come to pass, there were no drugs that were actually found at the apartment. Miss Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, said her daughter had big dreams and planned a lifelong career in healthcare after serving as an EMT. She had a whole plan on becoming a nurse and buying a house and then starting a family. She had her head on straight. She's a very decent person. And she didn't deserve that, obviously, and she wasn't that kind of person. Now, why did the police fire? The Louisville police said that they had fired inside Miss Taylor's home only after they were first fired upon by Mr. Walker, Miss Taylor's boyfriend. They said that Mr. Walker wounded one of the officers who was hit in the leg but was expected to make a full recovery. Mr. Walker was subsequently charged with attempted murder of a police officer, though the charge was dismissed in May. Now, the police also assert that despite having a no-knock warrant, they knocked several times and identified themselves as police officers with a warrant before entering the apartment. Mr. Walker said that he and Miss Taylor heard aggressive banging at the door and asked who it was, but they did not hear an announcement that it was the police. The police said that the officers forced entry into the exterior door and were immediately met with gunfire, so the officers returned fire. That's what they said. One of the officers, Brett Hankinson, was fired. The other officers involved in the case, Joe Mattingly and Miles Cosgrove, both who are white, have been placed on administrative reassignment. None of the officers face criminal charges. Again, none of the officers face criminal charges. The Kentucky Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, is now leading the investigation. The FBI is also supposedly investigating. Mr. Hankinson appealed his firing, but a hearing for the case has been delayed pending the completion of a criminal investigation. Now, before we get into a little bit more, keep in mind this is 5 months and 2 weeks ago, okay? 5 months. Now, is the police account disputed? Hell yes, very hotly. Miss Taylor's relatives and their lawyers say that police never identified themselves before entering, despite their claims. They also said that Mr. Walker was licensed to carry a gun. Mr. Walker, 27, has said that he feared for his life and fired in self-defense. Well, no shit. Believing that somebody was trying to break into the home. So let me break this down for you. Somebody's banging on your door. You don't hear them identify themselves, which they probably didn't. It sounded like a BS lie. They're trying to get in the door. And now keep in mind, this is after midnight as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Okay. So this is the time of night. So the guy's licensed to carry the gun. Of course, he's going to protect his girlfriend. Give me a break. Anyway, he didn't know these were police officers. They found no drugs in the apartment, none, said Robert Eggert, Mr. Walker's attorney. He was scared for his life and her life. In a 911 call just after the shots were fired, Mr. Walker told a dispatcher that somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend. The police's incident report contained multiple errors. It listed Miss Taylor's injuries as none. What? Even though that she had been shot at least 8 times, and indicated that officers had not forced their way into the apartment, though they had used a battering ram to break the door open. Miss Taylor's family also said it was outrageous that the police felt it necessary to conduct the raid in the middle of the night. The lawyers say that the police had already located the main suspect in the investigation by the time they burst into the apartment, but then they proceeded to spray gunfire into the residence with a total disregard for the value of human life. Okay, look. In light of everything else that's going on right now, obviously you paid attention to the case with Mr. Blake, who just got shot 7 times. This case continues to be buried. There have been billboards posted by Oprah Winfrey. There have been articles with Vogue magazine and other things, but in reality, nothing is being done. Nothing. It's incredulous. It's ridiculous. I'm from Orlando, Florida. Okay. I watched a few years ago. I was there when Trayvon Martin, a young African-American kid, was shot dead on the sidewalk carrying a bag of Skittles and a drink because somebody thought that he posted a threat because it was black. Nothing was done. And this was basically the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement. Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mother, is actually running for county commissioner position in South Florida. And I'm hoping people are smart enough to elect her to do that. But the attorney for both cases, Mr. Benjamin Crump. And if anyone has a way to contact Mr. Crump or any of Miss Taylor's family or Sabrina Fulton, we would love to have them on the show. And I will give them the entire platform. Because, look, I try to avoid politics and issues like this on my show. You all know that. But this is something that can't be avoided. And we must do what we can. And even I'm in a country right now 2,000 miles away here in Brazil, but you have to support the pursuit of justice. It's ridiculous. I mean, look, we're not even talking about everything that's been going on, again, with the Blake issue that just happened, with the George Floyd issue that happened not too long ago. This is blatant. They were in their apartment. She didn't do a damn thing, and they still haven't even prosecuted or even filed criminal charges against anybody. I mean, okay, regardless of the fact that they think that somebody was a criminal or not, they shot a woman 8 times. How many freaking bullets does it take? If that's the case, they're obviously it's some kind of a weapon that they're either blindly shooting, and that's not a 9mm. If it is, what are they doing? Just sitting there? I mean, how do you do that? So there's a lot of holes in this case, but the fact that, again, that they haven't charged anybody is insane. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't like it, if you don't want to hear about it, get the hell off my Instagram, get off my Facebook. Don't tune into the show, because every single day we're going to post something about it. Every show we're going to mention something about it until something is done, because this is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to take you real quick back to not an old film, it was in the 90s, a movie called Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey and Samuel Jackson. McConaughey is an attorney in Mississippi defending a black man who killed 2 white men who beat and raped his 10-year-old daughter. And at the end of the movie, he makes a memorable speech to the court and the jury, and he asks them to close their eyes and kind of retells the horror of what happened to his daughter. And then at the very end, he stops and just asks the people, hey, imagine if that girl was white. And it's the same damn thing here. Okay? If Breonna Taylor was white, this would be an open and shut case, and you all know it. So stop fronting, and you know that's the case. Take care of it. And again, like I said, I appeal to anybody that has connections with Mr. Crump, I've tried to, contact him on Instagram. Sabrina Fulton, they don't know me. I'm not a big name, but we would love to have them on and have them tell their side of the story because, like I said, I've lived through it, and it's really a shame that this happened. I apologize for starting off the show like this in a negative tone, but look, it's something that has to be addressed, and with all that's going on, these things can't be ignored. So I hope that you can assist me with that and understand where we're coming from. We try to do our best. This is our 15th episode. I remember starting the first episode with a moment of silence because I was right in the middle of the George Floyd issue with the Black Lives Matter movement. And look, it's near and dear to my heart. My wife is Black. Everybody knows that. My son is mixed. Even though I'm not a Black person, I'm a human person. So let's make sure we get that taken care of. So that brings us to our first guest. Hailing from Statesboro, Georgia, this amazing defensive end was a Florida Gator and then drafted by the New England Patriots. After a brief stint with the 49ers, the bulk of his career was with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys. Recently, he was just hired as the new general manager for the WFLA Atlanta Amazons. Let's learn a little bit more about Jeremy Mincey.
Do you know what success is? You say you want success, right? You say you want to shine, you want to ride, you want to have the cars, the house. But do you really know what success is? Success is sacrifice. How many nights you ate Roman noodles? How many nights you went with your lights off lighting the candles? How many nights you went with your wife arguing at you because you ain't have it? I know what success is.
Boy, I know what cold is. Boy, I know what cold is. Boy, I know what cold is. Boy, I know what cold is. Boy, I know what cold is. Boy, I know what cold is. Boy, I know what cold is.
Third and 14, Moore and Church are both back in the game. And Sanchez is going to get sacked at the 13-yard line by Jeremy Mincey.
Music, drugs are running route. Life and times of a country bunkin' raised in the South. With big dreams, apparently they was paramount. Alternative schools, they tried to kick me out. Life was cold as a blizzard, still tried to figure out. High school, a straight fool, a freshman flunky. A class clown with no clothes and no money. Teachers never believed in who they call Bunky. Could've easily been the Trayvon Martin. Senior year, won the state, went to junior college. Transferred from Kansas, ended up in Florida. Almost didn't make it, my own fam robbed me. A cold world, but that's my problem. Minor setback, made your boy grind harder. And I play smarter, and I go harder. Boy, I know what cold is. 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 Boy, I know what. Life's a game. It just depends on how you play. You know what I'm saying? Life's a chess game, want fame, money, and cars. Ice on your neck while you dancing with stars. Round of applause, how you acting, getting Emmy awards. Or in the sauce, disrespect can get you plenty of wars with plenty scars.
There's Mincey, spent 8 seasons with the Jaguars. Also played in the Super Bowl with...
To your elders because you took a loss and your partner stayed.
Jeremy Mincey has his 6th sack of the year.
Can't shake it off, and your coach ain't even calling the plays or perfect routes. Better navigate through weather, whatever to get you out. Cause it's over when the blood, sweat, and tears dries out. Never ever ever thought you have a beard right now. Through a glass with your kids, don't get to live with your spouse. But you was about that life, you was about those pounds. From a former first round, 25 locked down. Wow.
Sometimes it feels that life is just a game you play.
Yeah.
Season never go your way.
Never go your way.
Gotta keep moving on.
Keep moving.
Sometimes it feels that life is just a game you play. The season never go your way, but you gotta keep moving on. Yeah.
Where my real niggas at, let's salute. I'm the best that ever did it, from the tank gang to the boot. Real niggas back in style, calling beef, I'm the truth. And I'm all about my green. did a show right next to Boosie. They listen to my music. My mom always told me I can do it. You missed the money train until you stupid. I ain't never had shit, but my bitch in just a blueprint. And you can keep the chain, cause I ain't never need no 2 cents. I'm calling Peter Boss and I'm a nuisance. Every day I thank the Lord just for this music.
All this cash in my pockets got a young nigga feeling like me. 50 bands and a rubber band got a young bitch like shit. All the shooters rolling with me got me feeling like a
Mince, look at him get a hand up. That was a sure touchdown for Danny Woodhead. If Brady can get maybe another.
All this cash in my pockets got a young nigga feeling like me. 50 bands and a rubber band got a young bitch like shit. All the shooters rolling with me got me feeling like I'm coaching for the Warriors. Yeah. And then you try to kick my door, I guarantee the nigga got something for you. Walk around feeling like, oh.
And at the 32, they were in field goal range.
All right, so that was an amazing video, and man, it gets me excited just watching this as football's around the corner. Man, Mr. Mincey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Sean.
Hey, listen, before we get to your career, let's talk a little bit about some of your personal history. You were born in Statesboro, Georgia. I talked a little, we played up there a couple times against Georgia Southern University. Do you have any brothers or sisters? And what was life like growing up there in South Georgia?
Well, it's a little rough, where I grew up. But I got 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and some way we find a way to make it out of old Statesboro.
Yeah, man, that's a big family, man. Are they all still in Georgia, or where are they at now?
Well, I bought my mom a house in Atlanta, and my younger brother's in Atlanta, but the rest of my sisters and brother are in Oklahoma and Texas.
Okay. Now you have a championship pedigree. You won a state title in high school. How did those things kind of prepare you? You're obviously playing for the Gators as well. How did that kind of prepare you for the NFL?
Well, for one, we had a great high school coach. He was from Tusculum Central, Alabama. Actually, Howard Busby. And him and Coach Pennington, they instilled, that work ethic from the beginning. So that's all I knew was work. So when I got to junior college, it was work. When I got to Florida, work. And, eventually it all paid off.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, your career in the NFL speaks for itself. And with the video just now, everybody could see, your career had its ups and downs. A lot of it attributed to some of the injuries that you went through, but you were drafted by the Patriots, picked up by the 49ers. You played with the Broncos, the Jags, and the Cowboys. But during the tough times, what kind of motivated you to keep going? Because, again, you had some great years, and you had some years, like I said, where injuries played a part and kind of dragged things down a little bit. So what motivated you to keep going?
I mean, I'm just the type, failure's not an option type. So I just carry that on my sleeve. I got cut from New England because I just didn't understand the full spectrum of how to play the game. And Bill's system moves kind of fast, and they didn't have time to wait on old Jeremy. So, they brought in Junior Seau, some older guys. It was just a numbers thing for me there. And San Francisco actually offered me a deal to stay with them. And I decided to go ahead to Jacksonville so I can get my degree from the University of Florida, because I only had 5 credit hours left. So I was like, it's a win-win situation. I could be on the active roster for the season. Wow. And also get my degree. So, I turned that money down to end up in Jacksonville.
Speaking of that, New England actually wanted to move you to linebacker as well. So did that play a part in some of the decision for you to kind of go a different direction? Did you not want to play linebacker, or what was the situation there?
That was actually a good point. That was the situation. I mean, I was a hand in the dirt type of guy, I was a hand in the dirt type of guy. 4-3 defensive ends are a lot different than stand-up defensive ends. And, in order in order for you to get the best out of me was having me in a 3-point stance. And that's what I was comfortable with. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were a defensive lineman, as we talked about, a position I played as well, not nearly at your level, but you already have my utmost respect and love, man. But, what was your favorite part of playing that position? Was it getting the sacks, playing the run? What did you love the most about playing defensive line?
just knocking the piss out of somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Whether it was a sack, tackle for loss, shoving the lineman 5-6 yards back in the backfield, it all made me feel good.
Oh man, you just taking me back. That got me hyped. I mean, especially this time of year, hear that just knocking the hell. It's funny because down here in Brazil, football. I think I told you is really growing. It's about 15 years old here. There's about 250 plus men's teams. We have some women's teams down here as well, and flag, and it's really growing. But I've served as a coach here for a few years, and man, it's sometimes it takes you back down to the high school days when coaches used to get in your face, and I'll do that here and just be like, look, take the playbook out of the picture, take everything else out of the picture, forget everything, and just go knock the hell out of the guy in front of you. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're right. I mean, that's just football, and I think sometimes people, especially nowadays, with all the creativity and the Madden and the playbooks and the computer graphs and all that shit, man. It's you against another man. You're gonna push him in a direction he don't want to go. Let's get to work. So I love hearing that. That's amazing. I talked a little bit earlier. Breonna Taylor was murdered 5 months ago, and protests continue to be sparked by other events as well that have been going on. And as a black man born and raised in Georgia, I'm sure you saw some things that make your blood boil as well. But
oh yeah.
What is your opinion on athletes protesting today? And if you were still playing, what would you do you think?
The funny thing about it is, God has a mysterious ways. I probably would have been Cap before Cap, and it'd have been a lot more different because, if I'd have took my stance, more people would have rolled with me from the beginning. And they just looked at, they took Cap stances, he's just doing it for attention at a point in time. But if it would have happened to me, it would have been like a completely, it would have been no pushback. You know what I mean? And I'm that type of guy to really put that effort in to get the point across. So, I definitely stand for injustice, and these players doing a great job, but fighting as well. And we just want the world to be equal in a better place. It's better when everybody's on the same playing field.
I feel you 100%. And one of the points that people are starting to make as well, though, is protesting is one thing, but like Bruce Arians said yesterday, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he said, "Hey, protesting's great, but also you need to get out there and do something. Whether it's put some money towards an organization, join an organization, get involved in the community, what have you. Don't you feel like it's one thing to protest and to skip games and skip practice or whatever." But it's also not a one-time, one-off deal. I mean, I think you really have to kind of understand where your position is on these issues and really do something about it. How do you respond to that?
I mean, I think they're doing a great job so far, but it's names like the Jerry Joneses and the Donald Trumps and people of the world that, one phrase can change the world. And if we find ways to to change their minds, then the world instantly change. Just imagine if Trump was like, I love all black people, and we all, this world is about equality. How fast would the world change? So it's gonna take us to influence the influencers to do the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with you to a point on that. I think with Trump, unfortunately, he's talked out of both sides of his mouth, and the fact that he has done some really good things for minorities, we have to be honest about that. In some ways, he's done a lot more than the previous administration. But that being said, yeah, I think his words could carry, but I think also that even if he did say something, the way that the news is against him right now, if they would twist it or make it look like he's just doing it for the vote or whatever, it's really kind of a touchy deal. But I agree with you 100%. I think as far as, especially with the owners, these owners really need to step up in the NFL. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this season because there's a lot of players. Yesterday, the Tennessee Titans, I believe it was like 3 or 4 other teams canceled practice, and they came up and said, "Hey, look, enough is enough." And I agree with you. I think if the owners would step up and be unified and say, look at the fact that we have 32 teams and I don't think we have any. Do we have any black owners at all? I don't think we have any. We have one black president. He's now the president of Washington. We have barely any black head coaches, barely any black offensive coordinators, and the NFL is 70% black. I mean, what the hell are you doing? The change starts at the top, and I agree with you 100% on that. Now, you were recently selected as the general manager for the WFLA's Atlanta Amazons, and the type of career and experience you have, you could probably land a job with any pro or college team right now. So the first question for me, and I know the answer but other people would be interested in knowing, is why women?
I mean, the women. I mean, women are now competitors. For you, it's just hard to get the best of a woman, and watching them grow and grow and learn the game. It's going to be very interesting. So I'm very, very, very excited part of this because when you watch women's basketball, it's not like men's basketball. They defense, they go hard.
Yeah, they scrap. Yeah,
they
no
scrap.
doubt.
So I can't wait to see that same scrappiness in football. It's going to be something.
I think I lost. Okay, sorry about that. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Now, growing up in Statesboro, it must be exciting for you to be now working as a GM in Atlanta, and you said you had some family members there as well. What are you most looking forward to in your new position there?
I mean, just to bring a championship home. I play to win, so let's get that out of the way first. But my main thing is to really represent the state of. I would have went to the University of Georgia, but they didn't give me a scholarship, so I ended up going to the University of Florida so I can beat Georgia.
I hear you.
So now that I'm back home and I got a way to represent for the state of Georgia, I take full pride in doing so.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, as a GM, it's going to be up to you to evaluate talent and select those that can help your team win those kind of titles that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. What kind of traits and skills and skill sets are you looking for when considering players for the Atlanta Amazons?
First, character is always first. And secondly, we're looking for a whole lot of speed because speed kills. And we're looking for physicality. So if you have those 3 traits, you definitely have a chance of making it on the Atlanta Amazons roster. And another thing, they got to have the attitude, man, and they got to have a passion for the game. And I noticed, strolling through the net, watching some of these ladies, some are very, very, very passionate about playing football. So these are the ones that have the biggest chance to be an Atlanta Amazon.
Awesome. Now, what is the current status of your team? Do you guys have a head coach yet? What kind of type of team are you going to be in 2021? Do you know that yet, or are you guys still in that development phase?
We're in the development phase, but so far I've got a head coach that I actually interned with this previous year from Edward Waters College, but he has a really background in coaching. Like we had like probably 200 years of coaching experience. So it's gonna be an interesting season.
My girl Lynx wanted to make sure that I mentioned the post that she had wearing the comfy cush. You know, you and your wife's clothing line. So she said, "Tell him I salute him, adding my picture showing love to plus size women." So Lynx wanted to make sure and let you know she's watching, and she's got nothing but love for that clothing line.
Oh man, we really appreciate her, man. She got them orders coming in, man. The women loving it. So I'm just proud we can provide some comfy cush for them.
Yeah, man. Hey, and speaking of which, you know, I know you were talking about doing some things down here, man. I tell you, big size down here you can't find. Look at me, I'm a big boy, man. You can't get crap for big sizes down here, so that's going to be welcome. That's for sure.
Right.
So the league continues to amaze and bring on fantastic talent, you know, like you, Plaxico Burris, you got Ja Rule's an owner. Do you think this trend is going to continue, and why or why not?
The thing about it is, I watch so many people put together leagues, but what's making it special is, like you just take a Plaxico Burris. When you involve in like hip hop and sports in one thing, like the people gonna tune in, man. People just want to see what it's about. If we can continue to woo them, we're gonna keep the fans going, and this league can grow.
Yeah, no, I feel it. You know, you made an interesting point off the air, and I hope you don't mind me talking about. But you were talking about maybe playing games on Tuesday nights. What were you talking about there? Why do you think Tuesday nights might be a better option?
I think it's just a day where most players are off. You know what I mean? Especially players, college. It's just a great day. After a long day in high school practice. It's
Hmm.
something to come home and watch and get the week started for football because Monday nights is gonna be Monday night football. You
Right.
know, have Wednesday night football, Thursday night football, but Tuesday is a day off for most. So it just makes sense to fill in that slot with ladies football.
Now, I've seen on your Instagram, and I'm really curious. I know you have some connections, like you were talking about in the music biz. Now, I know our CEO, Loopy Rose, was really juiced in with the music biz. Obviously, Ja Rule, which is amazing. I don't know a thing about it. I just listen to it. I love it. So what's your connection there with the music industry? And are you working with some labels, or what are you doing there?
Well, I had I started out as an artist, and the more I started learning the game, the more I started leaning towards the business side.
Hmm.
And, I started, at 16 years old. I had a cousin that I looked up to. He was a small record label out of Savannah, Georgia. We had an artist called Camouflage that signed a deal with Universal, and after he ended up getting killed, my cousin Fat Boy moved to Atlanta and got with this producer named Shorty Red, who Fat Boy eventually made the multi-platinum song "Wasted" for Gucci Mane.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
so yeah, and so when I got to the University of Florida, I already had music going and doing music. I ran into this kid named Jay Dash at the university.
Okay. We just had a little bit of a connection hip up here, and I think he's coming right back on here. So, no, you're good. Go ahead, man. You
People
were
keep
talking. You're a busy man. All right. So, yeah. So he doesn't have his phone on airplane mode. It looks like, so it's all good. That's all right. That's a good thing, man. We're almost towards the end of it anyway, so we'll keep it going. But yeah, again, we're talking about the fact that here's a player that played in the NFL for as long as he did, and turn around and now he's work with the WFLA. So this is going to be a good thing. So, are we back? Are we good? Okay. All right. So, just another quick question, Jeremy. What are your immediate goals then for 2021, and personally with the team as well?
To build a solid foundation first and foremost. Football is one of those games you have to build it from inside out, and we're gonna start with finding a great quarterback first. After that, we're gonna find some great linemen. Then we find a tailback. Then we find the defensive line. Then we find the cornerbacks, and then we find our linebackers. It's a specific order that kind of helps you build a team faster, and that comes from all the experience I had with each team I played on, and I watched so many different coaching philosophies and on how to put the team together. And I've been a part of a lot of winning teams, so I kind of got the gumbo to this thing. The mixture of all of it, and I can't wait to really show what we can do.
It's interesting you bring up some of your experience as a player, and I'm curious, just from a personal standpoint, is what were some of your favorite teammates to play alongside on the defensive line?
Oh man, shoot!
I know I put you on the spot, but
Terrence Knighton, that's my boy, man.
Ooh,
George,
man,
a UCF, a Golden Knight, George Selvey.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Man, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yep.
Nick Hayden. And a whole bunch of guys, man. I got a whole bunch of favorites, man. These were guys that I had fun with, man. Them was the golden years.
One of the things I neglected to bring up, when you're playing for the Cowboys, Greg Hardy was actually going through some contract issues and stuff, and they actually made you the defensive captain. Talk about that a little bit. What was that like?
Oh man, it was great. I think I earned that role by whipping Tyron Smith on a consistent basis in practice, because nobody can whip him but me. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
They would put me and him in front of each other, in front of the whole team, and I'll win most of the battles. And that's kind of how I earned my leadership role. Slay the dragon. You got to slay the dragon.
Yeah. Stay on top of the mountain, man. I know all about it. Now, hey, you being a GM and a former defensive player, you're going to push your coach to, I want to see some of these ladies doing Oklahomas, man. What's that all about?
We doing.
You heard? Come on, man. You got to line them up, see what's up, because
got the heart,
But let me tell you, man, these girls can flat out hit, though. I've had at least 15, 20 girls on the show so far, women, and they knock the hell out of each other. And it's funny when I ask them, I said, what's your favorite part of the game? And I think almost every one of them said, I want to knock somebody on their ass. And I'm like, what? You just don't expect that. You figure, okay, maybe it's scoring touchdowns or, another part of the game. They're like, no, I want to knock somebody on their ass. And even when I have the male players on here, they're not saying that. So it's kind of like, okay, what are we getting into? So, and then they send me, their film, their highlights and stuff. And I'm so excited for them. They really, all the things that Lynx and that Loopy have been talking about, what they're doing for the league. They got their new studios opening up soon, and man, you are walking into a hell of a situation, I think, and I think it's really gonna take over and be something seismic. I don't think this is gonna be a 1 or 2 year deal. I think this is gonna be something that's gonna be for decades.
I think I have that. I also have that feeling too. I got to salute Deb Atney and Laney and, Shatana Nelson. All of them, believe in me for putting me in this position. So I'm definitely grateful for them. And, you know, like I'm gonna stand on what I'm gonna instill the same way I played inside of everybody around me. So it's gonna be.
Hey, you gotta talk to Miss Laney for me, man. We need to get her on the show. I definitely want to talk to her, see what's up.
Yeah,
hey, so we're gonna get rid of you real quick in just a second. We're gonna go through the Slack attack rapid fire real quick. All right. So how many cups of coffee per day?
None.
None. Wow. Okay.
Pre-workout.
Favorite football movie?
Remember the Titans.
Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj.
Best defensive currently in the NFL. Best defensive end. Sorry. Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett. Come on, man. Go with my Bucks. Come on, man.
I think Everson Griffin. He's been the most consistent right now.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. And favorite food after 2 a.m.?
Probably pizza.
Pizza. I thought you were gonna go with tacos, man. We were doing tacos earlier, so. Hey, listen, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. I know we had a couple of scheduling hiccups, but it's definitely been a pleasure, and looking forward to definitely talking to you again once the season kicks off next year. The best of luck to you and to Atlanta, and look forward to seeing what you guys do next year.
I appreciate it, man. Salute, Slack, smack.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, blessings, family.
You too. Wow, that's amazing. It's a lot of fun talking to guys that are passionate about the game, that have the experience that he has, the excitement that he has about going to be a GM again for the women's game. And that's what this show is all about tonight. This is men supporting women, not only from our show and from me. You guys know I'm all about that, but also you can start getting a feel for. There's a lot of men that are out there that are really supporting this cause and doing, especially with our next guest as well, which we'll get to here in a minute. But this is a league again that's really going to open some eyes and really kind of blow you away. And I know I talk about it a lot, but it's something that, we're definitely passionate about. And we look forward to it because it's only, you're almost down to 7 months now from kickoff. I mean, we're going to get out of this Corona crap hopefully pretty soon. By the way, prayers up to my father-in-law. Speaking of Corona, he unfortunately got admitted into intensive care last night and is not doing well. He's 17 years old. So to my wife Edith and her father, my father-in-law, prayers up. Hope you're doing okay. But hopefully we're going to get out of this, deal, and they're going to be able to start, kicking off the season, and it's really going to be some exciting stuff. So really looking forward to it. So now our next guest is actually from Compton, California. Junior Minters attended Langston University and Compton Community College before earning a scholarship to New Mexico Highlands. He also played semi-pro ball, some over in Germany all throughout as a defensive back and kick returner, and has been coaching football for several years. All told, he's been involved in American football for almost 30 years and was recently named the head coach of the new WFLA Los Angeles Flames. We are now going to look at a video Coach sent us that's actually with Deion Sanders preaching the football gospel and a philosophy Coach Minter subscribes to.
There's this cliche where we oftentimes say, it is what it is. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. That means no matter what you do, how you go about it, how you set it up, how many times have you prayed? You can stay on your kneecaps till you got knee pads and your knees are raw up underneath, trying to help somebody, trying to provoke somebody, trying to encourage somebody, trying to lift somebody, trying to uphold somebody, but still, yet and still, you finally hit your head against the wall and say, darn it, it is what it is. But those of you coaches that you steady going, those parents that you won't give up, those teachers that you got to keep on teaching, those ministers that you got to keep on praying, those prayer warriors that you doing what you do, those mothers. is, well, what do you do? Where do you go? Who do you call? What do you say? How do you deal with it? I've come to the naked conclusion that sometimes God may want it to be what it is so he can work. Because sometimes you feel like you're in the way. Because no matter what you do, no matter how much money you throw at it, no matter how much you pray about it, you still come to the nasty, naked conclusion that it is what it is. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to forsake them, abandon them, or disconnect with them. But sooner or later, you gotta let God be God. Sooner or later, you gotta let God be God. Because right now, you're fed up because it is what it is. True.
Any investment in life, there has to be a return. Yes, sir. I want mine back. Everybody take off your helmet. I need to see your eyes real quick. Make sure we ain't got nobody scared. Ain't nobody scared. Ain't nobody scared. Ain't nobody scared. Nigga ain't making no eye contact. Ain't nobody scared, is it? Get it. All right. Fellas, catch the ball first. Catch the ball before you run. Catch it. If you ain't let God do it, all right? You guys got a gift. Open that thing tonight and give it to him. Let's open that gift. Let's run what we call, and everything gonna be great. I promise you. If I see a matchup, if you have a matchup, let me know. But you got to attack. Can you hear me? Yes, sir. Can you hear me? One thing we ain't gonna do is lay down on that field. All right? If you lay down on that field and you get up and come out, you ain't going back in. If you lay down on that field, I better see bone or blood. Do you hear me? Yes, sir. You are men. Act like it. Understand me? Yes, sir. Let's go. Right? Well, you got the butts look good, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, word? Yes, sir. Butts look great. Look so good, I posted it.
All right. Hey, that's amazing stuff from Deion Sanders. I love Deion Sanders. You know, he obviously went to Florida State. That's my guy. And it's a great philosophy to look forward to. And, man, he's amazing. But, Junior, man, I'm so glad to finally get you on the show. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I've been waiting to talk with you, Sean. How's everything? How's little Devin?
Hey,
how's the wife?
Man, they're all doing good. You know, like I said, we're struggling a little with this Corona deal down here, but everybody else is healthy and good. And you know, the little man, he's 2, but he's already getting in a football stance. You know how we roll. So,
oh yeah. Oh yes.
But they're all doing good. And then you were telling me about you, man. Let's get into that. You know, obviously you grew up in Compton, and you got 6 kids, man. God bless you. Tell me about the family.
Oh man, the family is awesome. It's the Mentors clan. They're my sole backing. They're my sole backing. Right now, me and my son live out here in California, doing our football thing, and my wife and my daughters are living in Reno, Nevada. They're just waiting for us to finish the season out and get back to them, and build this family back up. We've been separated for a little hot second with doing our football stuff.
Now I gotta give some love to your son. Now don't be shy. Give his team some love and what they're gonna do going to Seattle, because that's really cool. What's your son's team name and what are they doing?
My son's name is Isaiah Mentors. He plays for the 9U Yellow Tape Boys out of Hub City, better known as Compton. They're number 3 in the nation in the AYF. They're going to play the number 1 team in the nation in AYF at Hare Academy, HEIR. That's Air Academy in Seattle next weekend. So he's ready. He's pumped.
Now your son is how old?
He's 9.
So let me ask you.
He'll be 10 in October.
Now, at this level, obviously he's playing at, they're playing at a very high level. You're ranked number 3 in the nation. Are they watching film? I mean, are they going that route? I mean, is that how they roll? What's the deal?
Well, with his travel team, they take it real serious. They travel to Florida to play in the AYF National Championship. So yes, most of the kids are watching film. My son watches film. I make sure he breaks down. He understands his responsibilities. He plays free safety, corner, and wide receiver. When he's playing corner, he understands taking away the inside and what he's giving up. He understands about playing over the top in a banjo call. You'll be amazed at the information that these 9-year-olds can attain and put it to forth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm blown away by the advancements, because I remember when I was 9, I was balling in the Pee Wee, but I wasn't watching any film. I mean, it was like 2 hours after school, and then you're walking home and you still got your shoulder pads on and you're waiting for mom to cook dinner. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the way that it's advanced now, I remember, because again, I'm from Orlando, so Disney Wide World Sports would always have these kids coming in doing championships and stuff. So, hey, Isaiah, mad love to you, man. We're gonna see what's up. You guys, coach is gonna let me know what happens, and good luck to you guys. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You personally, you progressed into semi-pro ball. You played in the German league as well, but then your career kind of took a different path with the passing of your mother. Talk about that experience and how that changed you moving forward, because that obviously completely altered your playing career. And what was that? Was that something that was expected, or was it all of a sudden? What happened there?
Well, during that time, my mom was dealing with lupus. My mom was diagnosed with lupus in 1992. She passed in 2005. So for 13 years, I watched my mom widow away like an old rose. She was my why. Every football player, Sean, when we play this game, there's a why. Why do we go out there and line up? Why are we putting this helmet on? Why are we running into another person full speed or running away from a person?
Yeah.
We have our whys. And she was my main why. She was my number one why. She was a single mom. She had me at 16 in Compton. So by her senior year, she was pregnant with me and giving birth to a son. So he had a young woman raising a young boy, and so that became my why, and I wanted to make her proud. So when I was in college football at Western New Mexico University, when she was passed down to her last breath, it kind of set me off in another world where I kind of stepped away from college football and started playing the semi-pro world, because I didn't really knew what I was doing at the time. Bunch of guys wanted to play. I was down in Silver City, New Mexico. Some guys came to me, Grant County Gladiators, said, "Hey, you want to play football?" I said, "Sure." We played a whole year, became a New Mexico State All-Star. We went to the Super Bowl, the Far West Texas League, lost the Super Bowl by 1 point, 6-7. Heartbreaker.
Man.
Ooh, yeah. Yes. And then from there, I went back home to take care of things with my mom, and started playing football in California again with a couple of my buddies who knew that I played college ball. And I started out with the California Seahawks, and the team folded on me. So I waited for another season to come up, and that's when I went to the Compton Panthers, went to the Super Bowl with them. The next year went with the California Ducks, went to the semifinals with them. And as the whole time, I'm the defensive coordinator. Yeah, and then so then from there, I started making a notoriety of myself over the internet, and a German league out of the Mediterranean Sea. I can't recall how far back, but they got in touch with me. I was set to go, and then in August of 2005, that's when I knew my mom. That's when they told me my mom had passed away. So I pretty much put everything on hold and came back to California to get everything straight, to become a better person, be more around my family, take care of them. I had 3 younger brothers at the time. 2 of them were in high school and in middle school. So I came back to make sure that that they were okay. My third brother, he was already in junior college playing basketball at Cerritos College, so he was pretty much okay. I just had to make sure that the two younger brothers were all right.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, and that's a shame, because obviously with your mother passing, but obviously from your standpoint as well, because the German league, from what I've heard, is amazing. The football over there is, we have football down here in Brazil. There's football in Mexico, whatever. But the football over there is another level. I mean, some of these stadiums and things that they're building, I mean, they're really doing some good things over there. But it's tough. But taking it back to where you're at now, I'm curious because Loopy is from your neck of the woods there in California, and she kind of grew up in a background with a single mother as well. So her being the owner not only of the league but also the Los Angeles Fames, do you guys, I'm assuming, have a really special bond considering that together with you?
Yes, we we think alike, coming up from nothing, the rose that grew through concrete. So the vision that Miss Rose put together with this WFLA and giving these ladies the opportunity to play the sport that I love, that you love, that a lot of people in general love, to give them their opportunity to be heard, to be paid equally, and flourish. Because some of these ladies, a lot of these ladies, have the skill set to be paid millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that that brings me to the next point because now, like I said, you're the head coach now for the Los Angeles Fames. What inspired you to turn to coaching women, and what are you most excited about in your first year?
The most thing I'm excited about with coaching the ladies is just giving them the opportunity and the platform to display their skills.
Mm-hmm.
I turned to women's sports in 1995 when I was at Langston University in Oklahoma, and I had the opportunity to go to the College Women's World Series. At the time, if I'm not mistaken, it was Jenny Finch on the mound for
Oh, shit,
Arizona, and yes, and to see her throw a fastball from 60 feet
yeah,
away,
man,
that's,
that's
I mean,
fire.
she struck out John Kruk. She was striking out John Kruk. John Kruk went on ESPN and he couldn't even hit a home. He couldn't hit a pitch from her.
Wow.
So, seeing her, and not only that, but also loving the sport of softball, seeing the ladies play it at a high intense level, I fell in love with the sport.
Mm.
So as I followed the sport more and more over the times, I started getting more and more into women's sports. I have a cousin that I went to high school with. She played basketball. So I would go to her games, and I'm a sports fanatic. So I love sports. It doesn't matter who plays it.
Sure.
And when I watched the girls play, the girls were a little bit more exciting to me than the guys. They were way more intense. It was just all out hustle. So I fell in love with it. And then, as I started having my family myself and, having my daughters, my daughter, Zanaya, playing softball, my oldest daughter running track at Poly, I starting to see like, okay, female athletes are more than just female athletes. They're human beings that have the same skill set as a man, and they should be seen as such.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I coached at LA Southwest Community College, coaching against Tony Harris, she's the female athlete that was on the Kia commercial or the Honda commercial for the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. She played against me at East LA.
What?
She was a free safety, and I didn't know of Tony Harris at the time until that commercial hit. And then when I did my due diligence, I remembered the number. I went back and watched film. She was the free safety that we played against, and she was a good athlete. She's at Southern Methodist University.
Oh, that's great.
When she cracked the surface and she said that she wanted to be the first woman in the NFL to play, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. So I met a couple of athletes that I trained in the off season, which is Donna Zyke and we call her YG, Mary Love. And these ladies came to me and asked me to get ready. They wanted to get ready for the WFLA, that they play football. And I did not take it as like, okay, whatever, it's just another league, because I did not know about the WFLA until these ladies brought it to my attention.
Right.
So when they brought it to my attention, and as we trained, and as I gave them my toolage and my knowledge of what I know of the game, they started to understand it a lot more. I started digging into the WFLA a lot more, and I said to myself, I want to have the opportunity to reach out to these girls and give them what they haven't been given over these last decade of years of playing,
Sure.
which is like the little cheat code of football.
Yeah. No.
So that's the reason. So yes, that's my passion for football. I love football. I love teaching life through football. And a lot of these ladies are going through a lot of things that like JUCO players go through. And I was a JUCO player, so I understand the struggle. I was also raised by a single Black female, so I understand that struggle of being a single mom and still wanting to do what you want to do to be successful.
Sure. No.
And you know,
No,
so
it's funny that you say
you
it
know,
like that because when I had Michael Grudadoria who played with me at UCF and then won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He was on, and I had Paula Chiarolchi, who's from here in Brazil, who's going to play for Phoenix, and that was the first time I really found out about the WFLA. I didn't know much about it either, but after talking to her and kind of in interviewing her, and she's telling me all these things that she's doing and how excited she is, and she sent me a bunch of highlight videos and stuff. I'm like, holy shit, and I know Links and Miss Rose can tell you, man, I blew up their email, man. I know Miss Rose talked about last month when I had her on. I was like, man, you got to get me involved in this shit because I'm not going to stop, so I'm emailing, and then they're like, hey, chill out a little bit, man. So then, of course, I had to back up, but I was hyped because I was like, holy crap. I mean, because I really didn't know. And now, every chance, we get, we're putting the athletes on and coaches on and other people on because to talk about it, because, man, people need to learn what's coming. I mean, I keep telling people it's like a storm you see over the horizon. Like if you're in the desert and you see them dark clouds coming, this thing is about to come and just take over. I mean, it's not even just the fact that let's take the women out of the equation. Let's take, gender and minority and all that stuff out of the equation for a second. Just flat out balling in the entertainment level as far as watching them go at it. Because like you said, it's just like what Jeremy Mincey was mentioning. These girls freaking go at it, man. I mean, they there's no let up. I mean, you blow.
They can really play.
It's like, how it is when we play, man. Come on. There's some plays where you're like, oh, damn.
Oh, yes.
I've been on the field 10 plays. I'm sucking in.
I've seen it.
Right. But them, man,
right.
They're like, no.
We just kick in.
It's unbelievable, man. So, from that standpoint, it's really going to be a lot of fun. But,
yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see some of these ladies just do what they do best, just display their skills at the highest level in a high intensity.
Yeah.
On a great platform.
As a former player and a coach, I think having experience as a player really helps you. You mentioned a little bit about kind of giving them the cheat code. Now, what are some things you picked up in your career that you think will help you in your first season with the Fames?
The greatest thing that I picked up was how to motivate, how to mentor, how to teach, how to coach. Those things that I've learned throughout my career from the great Nate Turner that played 5 years in the NFL with the San Diego Chargers. He was the head coach at LA Southwest. Sitting up under him and watching him do things along with Coach Washington, who also played with the Washington Redskins for 5 years as a DB. Coach Tuck to be player personnel when he was the player personnel and assistant head coach for the San Diego Strike Force. I've learned a lot from these coaches to learn how to mentor, to teach the game to these ladies, to be there for these ladies, to protect them at all costs. That's for one.
Now,
Because
keep going.
oh no, go ahead.
No. It's I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I was just thinking. It's amazing what you think is that. I kind of do the same thing as a coach. Is like you kind of pull from a lot of different people. And it's not just from football. You can learn some things just watching like Phil Jackson as an example. You can pull from Urban Meyer. You can pull from Tom Landry, different coaches from different eras, from different sports. And it kind of all molds you into the coach that you want to be. I think one of the biggest, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, one of the biggest faults that I see, especially with new coaches, is they try to be something that they're not. And, players don't respond unless you're authentic, unless you're real. So these coaches, especially down here, I see it a lot. They watch, Last Chance U, and they watch, these different movies where the coaches are yelling 99% of the time at the players, and they think, hey, if I do that, that's gonna, it's like, no, no. Of course,
No, see,
every once in a while somebody needs a
that's
foot in the ass. But
that's one
come
of
on.
my. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah,
Right. True. I mean, there's a certain level to do it. Oh, okay. We good?
Mm-hmm.
Are we frozen?
No, you're good. Keep going.
We good, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry. With the whole technology, your image is frozen. So I'm like, are we good? Are we okay? All right. What I like to use in my coaching style is I have to get to know my players. I have to, me to be a successful coach and from my standpoint, is to know if you're okay off the field, because whatever is going off the field dictates the play on the field. I cannot jump in your tail end if you're going through things off the field and I don't know about. So I might catch you on a bad day, and now we collide in attitudes. So when I was announced the head coach of the Fames, I started reaching out to these ladies, with some of my staff that I was going to bring on with me, because a lot of my coaching staffs aren't just football coaches. A couple of my staff members that were females, that are females, I'm sorry, not were, that are females, were not football coaches, X's and O's. They were there for mental health and strength. They were there for training purposes and amongst the other ones. So when I reached out to these ladies, to find out what's going on, are you okay? How's your family? This, that, and the other. So I created a page, a private page, for these ladies to get to know one another on the team. For me to get to know them, because I have a bunch of ladies in Guam, Brazil, all over the map. And I created these to create a connection with them. Like you said, it's a connection with these ladies when we coach, and not just ladies, with any player.
Sure.
That's my coaching style of how I come about. And with that may not fit well with most people.
No, you make a great point. One of the things I try to tell my players and tell teams I'm coaching is, look, everybody's got a different button to push. Some people respond well with a foot in the ass. Some people need an arm around the shoulder. Some people, and as a coach, you're not only just an X and O's and guy. It's like you said, you're also a therapist. You're also a father figure. You're also, a million different things in once. So, I think that's a really good point that you make there. I've been posting regularly about, the ridiculous situation surrounding the murder of Breonna Taylor, and as a black man, a family man, how do you reconcile this? Now you got 6 kids, with your family, and How do you talk to your kids about these horrific situations that are going on right now?
It's a touchy subject right there. Reason why is because of this has been going on for many of years. There's nothing new. This is nothing within the last 5 years. This has been going on since the 50s, 60s, 70s. But what has changed is the response by generations. I teach my children that, no matter what, know your laws, stand your ground. And if that's what you decide to stand in, make sure you're standing in the right way and not in the wrong way. Don't follow people who just want to be part of the movement and not be the movement. I have to teach my son and my daughters that just because of the color of our skin does not mean that we are uh, treated fairly. Because my children, out of six of my children, some of them have the skin complexion of their mother because I have a Hispanic wife. So three of my daughters, two of my daughters and my son are lighter skinned than my other daughters and my son and my
Mm-hmm.
other son. They're darker. So with that, I have to teach I solely have to sit down with my daughter and tell her, look, baby, this is the situation. You may not be treated as equally as your sister because of the skin tone. Even though she is a black woman, she's lighter than you, and they're going to
Right.
treat her differently than they will with you. So now I teach them how to be strong, how to be leaders, how to be outspoken, how to stand your ground. If something is wrong, stand your ground and stand in the rights of it. Do your due diligence in the background. Police brutality has been going on in our country for years. I've been a victim of police brutality with LAPD coming up in the 90s with the bad choices that I made in life. I put myself in those situations to have that opportunity for the police to brutalize me when they had to, whether if I deserved it or not. Police brutality has been going on with the black males in the community for eons
Mm.
of years. So now what we taught in 1994 when those riots jumped off, I was the kid out there. I was that guy, but I was out there for the wrong reason. I wasn't out there to be a part of the movement. I was out there to be like the movement. I was out there looting and damaging things. Nobody was because there when we rioted, we didn't have the structure that we have now. We didn't have the platforms that we have now. In order for us to have the platforms like we do now in the NBA, the Major League Baseball, the football, the National Football League, entertainment, movies, those things were not easily accessed like it is now for us because that was a striking point for us. We had to that was our way out of our situation. Now that we're at that platform, my generation has taught the younger generation this is the way you do it. You don't do it like us. You don't have to go out there and loot and steal and hurt people. You do it together. You do it by numbers, and you hit them where it hurts in their pockets. It baffles me how America can cheer for us in sports that is 90% dominantly skin of color, but you hate us on the next day. We can go and hit a jump shot with 3 seconds left and win the world championship for you. And in the same instance, the same person that hit that jump shot can leave his home dressed as a regular person and end up losing his life over a regular routine traffic stop.
Yeah,
It baffles me.
I just I can't come to grips. And again, I see some of it. Again, I'm obviously a white guy, but my wife is black. My son is mixed. He's light skinned. But he's going to go through it. He's going to, especially down here. He's already learning English, but he's gonna go through a different type. But when I see this stuff like with Breonna Taylor, and I keep going back to that, it really that really for me has kind of triggered something even more because we're never going to experience that. Regardless of what you say, and even the white people today that most of them marching with Black Lives Matter don't really know what the hell they're doing. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. Um, they're never going to experience it like a black person actually experiences that. And while it's good and all that you can go and march and do this other thing, it's about being active and actually doing something within your community. And I go back, like I said, with Breonna Taylor, and it's like, how the hell does this happen today? You know, one of my friends that his really good friend is African American. He was telling me the other day, he's like, look, man, this is not new. This has been going on forever. The only thing that's changed is now we got cell phones, you know? And he's 100% right. You know, now people are able to film it, now people to see it. And now it's putting it into the living rooms, into the faces of the people saying, hey, look, this really is what's going on. Because imagine if we don't have that tape. Imagine we don't have the cell phones. We don't have these YouTube videos and whatever. No one would even know. So for people to complain and say, hey, stop talking about it. Hey, da da da. It's not about that. It's about showing you what really is going on now. Now you have, for a brief moment, an ability to experience what we've been experiencing for decades. And I think that, you know, sports, obviously, people go to sports to escape the realities and things of that nature. But when things are as bad as they are right now, which is as bad as I've ever seen, I'm 48 years old, so I've seen a lot. But, you know, I don't even know what the answer is. You know, yeah, I was talked a little bit about with Jeremy as well. And there's just so much wrong, so much hatred right now on both sides. You know, nobody, you know, and mostly, you know, for white people especially to even have, I don't want to say an opinion, but in a comment into a way that's derogatory. Because if I'm a kid, okay, I'm a teenager, and I'm thinking if I'm 15, 16 years old and I have a friend that just gets shot by, you know, you already feel helpless. You know, as a kid, you're a teenager. You're growing up. You got a million things going on. So you obviously your natural thing is going to be to rebel and to go against it. And what else are you supposed to do? Because nobody's hearing the call. You know, and that's the frustrating part is why does it take 5 months and 2 weeks for somebody still not to arrest somebody for a blatant murder? You know, why does it take a guy 7 shots in the back of a guy, regardless if he had a knife, regardless if he was reaching for a gun? He's got 3 of his damn kids in the car, and you could put 7 bullets in his car tire. You don't need to put it in his back and paralyze the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even fathom what that is like in what you experience. And I don't know what to say. I really don't. And I'm going to try to use my show as a platform to talk more about it, but we're never going to feel it on your angle. And I can only hope that, you know, with the amount of things that have been continuing to happen, that this doesn't turn into us versus them and that type of deal. It's not about that. It's just about enough is enough. You know, it's
enough is enough. We're all human beings. At the end of the day, Sean, if we both die today and they bury us and cremate us, we're both dust. We're both the same color as dirt.
Yeah, our
and we're both not here.
White, man. When our skeletons are just there, they look the exact same, man. Mine might be a little bit. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say mine might be a little bit bigger, but but it looks exactly the same. You know, when these guys are digging up bones in Egypt, you know, from 5,000 years ago, you can't tell what the hell this guy was. You know what I'm saying?
You surely can't. You surely can't. And once society goes back to understanding what it's like to be a good human being, just a good human being, just a good human being, and that's what I'm bringing. That's the person I am. I just want to be a good human being to others. Yeah. And with this whole with the whole Breonna Taylor, it's not only held on the hands of the officers that had their hands in it. It also goes on to the chief of police, the mayor, and on and on and on, because attitude reflects leadership. So however your troops are acting, it's in the face of your leadership. So if these men are out here taking the law into their own hands and doing this, we need to also press the issue on that chief of police. We don't want no apology. We're tired of hearing apologies. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's for losers.
Yeah.
Lose because you know what you're doing. You acknowledge it, but you're saying I'm sorry. So we're tired of hearing that. We're tired of hearing I'm sorry. We're tired of hearing that, or we're tired of feeling that anytime that I come into an establishment, just because of the color of my skin, I either can't afford it, shouldn't be there, or I'm causing trouble.
Yeah. I
That,
mean,
that, I shouldn't feel that. I shouldn't have to feel that. If me and you, Sean, walked down the street and there was an altercation, and me and you were saving somebody else, and you were fighting somebody, and I was helping you breaking up, and the police pulls up and arrest me and take me into custody, that is an issue.
that's a big issue, and I wouldn't let that shit
That's a
happen.
big issue. Exactly, and that's where the change is, Sean. That's where the change is. For when people as yourself step into the front of the bullet, into the front of the gun, and say, "No, you have to kill me before you kill him." And as soon as that hits, soon as we have people doing that for us
Yeah,
without
man.
being told, this is where the change is coming. Not only that, in our children,
Yeah.
the
That's
change
where it
comes from
starts,
our
man.
children.
It's like people like you, man, with your family. That's where it starts. That's what people don't understand is racism is inherent to what these kids are born around, and that's where they pick it up. When you're born, you don't know about racism. Your kids are
No,
playing
you surely
black and
don't.
white and Chinese and Hispanic. He don't give a damn. My son Devin, man, he runs all over this building, and there's every freaking race in the world in this. Let me tell you, I got Chinese, I got Brazilian, I got Hispanic, I got everything going down. And he's so popular, man. He's a little pimp with his hair and everything going on, but he plays with everybody. And the only thing that's bad is
But
when he has to come home. So it isn't about, they learn that from the parents. If you're the type of parent that says, hey, this person is bad, don't, mess with them, don't come home. When I was a kid in high school and stuff, man, I came home with the United Nations, man. I mean, I had black girls, I had Chinese girls, come on, man. It didn't matter. And if your parents at that
right.
level are like, hey, it's all good as long as you're happy, so on and so forth, that's where it stops. That's why I am the type of person I am now. And that's how it has to start at the beginning. But, the last thing I'm going to mention about this real quick is, I was in New York during September 11th. Okay. I was actually about 10 blocks away from when, the attack happened. And, luckily, I was able to get the hell out of there because I was smart enough to watch the second plane hit. And I'm like, dude, I'm out. Ciao. I basically got my rent-a-car and drove straight back down to Florida. And that was right before they closed the bridges and closed everything. And the point I'm making is for that 2 weeks that happened, this country was one country. That was the last time I've ever seen this country work together and be together as one. It wasn't about blacks. It wasn't about whites, Hispanic, whatever. It was, hey, man, somebody just came over here and kicked our ass. We need to join together and forget it. And that was literally for about 2 weeks. I don't know if you remember that moment or not, but for me, I wish, we could either get back to that or get back to being just like a football locker room because there is no racism in a locker room either. So
Surely isn't. Surely
uh,
isn't. Sports isn't. That's why I love sports. I'm a sports
yeah.
fanatic because it doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter your gender. If you can get 22 dogs on a football field and teach them how to play football, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
If you can get a couple of cats out there to play some baseball, I probably will watch it. I'm a sports fanatic. It doesn't matter who's playing it. It's a sport. It's something for human beings to do. So if it's black, white, Asian, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. That's why I love football, because when you can coach a multicultural team, that makes you an all-around person, because now you start to understand different cultures and how to interact with each other.
Yeah,
That's what life is supposed to be about. That's what God put us here for, to learn from each other, not to hate, not to be better than, to be equal to.
yeah,
Same thing as the women want to do with the men. Just want to be equal to two human beings playing the same sport.
yeah. It's amazing. You know, the league and your team is owned, like I talked about, by an amazing woman, Miss Loopy Rose. She grew up near you. She's a woman. She's a minority, and pretty much has risen to her status by strapping up her boots and getting to work. You know, that's what she told us a few weeks ago. You know, how excited are you to be working for her, first of all, and then secondly, seeing all the diversity and empowerment going on in the league? Because look at all the minority coaches, the minority staff. Describe your emotions attached to this as well, especially on the heels of what we just talked about.
Whew. Uh, my emotions are high. I'm so excited for these ladies to finally get the opportunity to display their skills in a sport that I love. Uh, Lupe has an awesome vision. Ever since I was introduced to the WFLA and she showed me her vision, she explained to me her vision. I've been A1 steak sauce since then. Pushing the brand, pushing the WFLA. There's ladies that are still sending me their highlights. I direct them directly to WFLA football so they can get on. Uh, I'm excited for this year. That's the reason why I started doing certain things as a head coach, like starting a private chat room to get to better know these players. And unfortunately, with that, it was, I guess, superseding protocol. So, uh, I had a phone call from the GM that told me that that wasn't that was superseding my grounds, I guess, as a head coach. So I was relieved of my duties as the head coach of the LA Fames. However, I'm still, giving all my love and support to the WFLA and the LA Fames and Miss Lupe with her vision to get these ladies equal pay and equal opportunity to play the sport that I love, that you love, that everybody, everybody who loves football wants to see. These ladies deserve the opportunity. They deserve that because they have worked their tail ends off for this.
Hmm. Now, let's talk some about that, about the team. What kind of players do the LA Phoenix have so far? What kind of offense and defense? Obviously you can't talk too much about it, but what kind of team are they shaping up to be?
They're shaping up to be a great team. However, I can't speak on anything else. Like I said, I was relieved of my duties as the head coach of the LA Fames. So now I'm just a fan.
Okay.
Yes, I'm just a fan right now. Still pushing forward to these ladies. I want them to succeed in this league. The LA Fans, from what I did know, had an awesome team, amazing athletes. I can't wait to see some of them out on the field and do their thing. For me, I will be moving on, hopefully with another job opportunity in the WFLA. I like I said, I got a phone call from the GM on the 20th that because I set up those chat rooms to get to better know my players, I was relieved of my duties as the head coach of the Los Angeles
I
Flames.
understand. I apologize. I did not know that. So insert foot.
It's Sean, it's okay, because I'm here for the women. I'm here for the movement, for the WFLA. That's what I started with. It's not going to end. I'm gonna keep pushing the brand. I'm gonna keep pushing the WFLA. I'm gonna keep pushing these women and women empowerment, because it's not only my story, Sean. It's your wife's story. It's my wife's story. It's my daughter's story. It's my cousin's story. It's my family story. That's why I go so hard for these ladies. If you ask about Coach Mentors cares.
Gotcha.
First and foremost, I'm a human being. And for being a human being, I was relieved of my duties for that. And I take that and I stand on it, because these ladies are really going through some things, and somebody needed to reach out to them. And me being a head coach, that I felt that superseded any kind of procedures I was supposed to abide by that I never knew of.
Sure, sure. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I got to get you through the Slack attack rapid fire real quick. So this is pretty easy.
Boom, 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 boom. Let's go, Sean. I'm ready for you.
All right.
I'm ready for you, Sean.
You got cups of coffee per day.
Wait, say that one more time. You were breaking up.
Okay, cups of coffee per day.
Cups of coffee per day, 2. 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon.
That's me too, man. That's me too. Favorite football movie?
Gotta have favorite football. The Program.
Oh my God! You know that was filmed in my stadium in Orlando. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, the den, what do they call it? The Lions Den, I think it was. That was filmed
The
in
Wolf
Orlando.
Den, yeah, the Wolf Den, Wolf Den Stadium.
Yeah.
Darnell Jefferson, yes.
Yeah,
My son, I showed him that movie, and he loves that movie. He loves the program. He walks around the house that says Darnell Jefferson starting tailback.
Oh my!
Like, boy, sit down.
Yeah, a couple of my former teammates were actually in the movie, so it's kind of funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. So, Dre from the West Coast or Drake from the East Coast?
Come on.
I know.
Neither one. I'm going with DJ Quick.
What?
I'm going with DJ Quick from the Hub City.
Oh my God.
I'm going with the Godfather of hip hop.
That's old school,
DJ Quick.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Yes.
Favorite.
Dre ain't really from my city, so Go ahead.
Your favorite NFL team?
Oh, you already know. LA Raiders.
Oh my.
LA Raiders. Yes, we in Vegas. But I'm a LA Raider fan. I was born when I first seen them, it was in the Coliseum. Bo Jackson was the running back. I was there when he tore his hip against Cincinnati. So yes, I'm Al Davis to the fullest.
What? We'll see you in October, man. My Bucks are coming to town.
I know, man. It's a rematch. We got to get y'all back for that Super Bowl. Oh man, that was terrible.
Y'all didn't want that smoke, man. Come on. Favorite food after 2 a.m.?
Anything that's hot.
Gotcha. It's good.
Anything that's hot.
Well, listen, Coach, man. Listen, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you hanging on there. I know it took us a while to get you on, but really appreciate your time and look forward to obviously stay in touch, man. Let us know where your career takes you next, and we'll definitely bring you back on. Maybe as the season gets going, we'll talk some more football.
Awesome. I live in the universe's ripple effect. So wherever, I know my hard work wasn't in vain. I didn't do anything malicious to disdain my name or anything of that sort. So I know that I have a future in the WFLA coaching for someone. And come on, Sean. I'm coming to Brazil.
Hey.
Me and Isaiah, we're coming to visit you in Devon, man.
Hey, come on.
We're gonna have both our mixed breed sons running around in Brazil. Hey. One talking Spanish, the other one speaking English.
There you go. That'll be awesome, man. We'd love to have you.
Yes. And we got to get you out here. We got to get you out here on the West Coast, out here in the States, man. Get you back, you and the wifey, man. Come out here. Maybe for kickoff at the Fames game against Dallas.
Man,
we'll both be sitting there watching.
Yeah, we'll definitely get back up there in the next year or so, for sure.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna see if we can make that happen, Sean. You're an awesome guy. You're a stand-up guy. Once again, much prayers to your father-in-law from the Mentors Clan. Like I said, it's all family. WFLA, you, everybody that's come across the Mentors Clan, we consider you guys family. We love each and every last one of y'all, and we're always rooting for the best.
Yeah,
the best success.
Man, really appreciate it, man. And hey, listen, good luck to you. Good luck to your son, Isaiah. Go hold it down next week, and we'll be talking again soon, man.
All right,
man. You got it. Take care, man. Wow, that's again an amazing guy. Again, it's fun to watch. When you see these guys that are really involved in women's professional sports. apologize. I did not know the situation there. So that was a little bit caught me off guard. But hey, that's all part of doing a live show. And, you know, next time we'll have to do better. But man, it was really exciting to have him on and kind of hear his take and his philosophy, especially again, talking about how he coaches, working with, being close with the team, and so on and so forth. He brought up a lot of good points, so that was a lot of fun. Next week, I'm not sure yet. We're talking. We have a couple really amazing guests that we're talking to. We haven't confirmed yet, so I can't let that out of the bag yet. But we will definitely be back with you next Friday night, 8 o'clock Brazil time, 7 o'clock Eastern. Pay attention to the Instagram, the Facebook. We'll definitely put the announcements there for what we're going to do. We want to say thanks again to Jeremy Mincey for coming on, and obviously Coach Manners for coming on as well. Special thanks also to Lynx and the WFLA. I know a lot of you were on tonight watching, so really appreciate you guys coming on. And we really look forward to continue doing our thing. This is episode number 15. Again, I apologize for the the kind of serious tone of the show, but again, I hope you guys can appreciate these are things that we really need to discuss and kind of get that out of there. As far as this is the family show, and a lot of things that are affecting our families, so we had to make sure we got everybody up to speed of what's going on. So I really appreciate it. So for Matt is in Alabama, for Emily is in Alabama as well. Victor Megahugo is down here. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next week.